In my wild travels, I had heard so many stories about a mystical forest safely tucked away in the Vindhyan mountain ranges of central India. Legend has it that thousands of years ago, in the time of the Mahabharata, the Pandavas took shelter in the caves here, and what a privilege it is to be able to share that view. Join me as we sit by and watch a mother playing with her two cubs. We'll take a walk with another tigress as she surveys her territory. We'll meet the many unique beings that live here. And on our last day, we'll meet Kanhaiya, the one-eyed king of the forest who was as curious about us as we were of him. I am Ritika Furtado Sharma, and today I'm at Panna National Park. This is Madla Gate at about 5:40 in the morning. We're the fifth gypsy in line to go in. The gates open just a little after sunrise. Right now it's about 6:15 in the morning and we're on our way. Here's the very first story from Panna. So a long time ago, there lived an old sage called Badami Baba. His tiger tracking skills were so famous that even the king would frequently call upon the Baba to help during their hunting expeditions. Ironically, the Baba was killed by a tiger, and on the spot where he fell, a shrine was built. Even today, the belief is that if you want to see a tiger in Panna, you must first seek the blessings of the great Baba. The mist that hangs low over the golden grasslands gives the forest a very magical vibe. The very first animal to make its appearance is the mighty SAMBAR deer. SAMBARs are native to India, South China and Southeast Asia, and in this area, they are the largest deer. They're supposed to be the favorite meal of the tiger and are crepuscular and nocturnal, meaning more active at dawn and dusk, and of course during the night. In the grasslands, a chinkara is eating peacefully. A chinkara is an antelope, not a deer. What's the difference? For one, antelopes have horns that are permanent, and both male and female antelopes will have them. Deer, on the other hand, have antlers, and only males have these, and they shed every year and then they grow back. Nilgai, also an antelope. Most commonly seen here, the spotted deer. Through the grasslands, a chosingha is watching us. Chosingha is a four-horned antelope. It has two horns between its ears and then two more horns on its forehead. They're known to be extremely shy and not always the easiest to spot. My guide is defining the places based on where a tiger named Kanhaiya is usually found. Kanhaiya, that's an interesting name. I hope we get to see him today. We've stopped at a place called Pipertola, a little bit on a highland with a stunning view of the river. But there's a lot of activity happening here this morning, as we've heard that tigress P141, who has 2 cubs, has been seen here. But lounging peacefully, oblivious to all the action, is a croc. The cubs are here. You can see the bushes moving, but we can't see them yet. Indian silverbills are busy at breakfast close by. Indian silverbills get their name from the brilliant silver-colored beaks. And there she is. Tigress P141. If I were to break down the numbers for you in her name, P is for Panna. 1 means that she is the daughter of T1. She's the 4th litter and 1st cub. She's obviously put her cubs in a safe space as she walks around, because we still can't see the cubs anywhere. And with that, she calmly walks away into her kingdom and into the night, where her time is just beginning, but it is time for us to leave the park for today. It's day 2 and I'm excited. Today we're first in line to get into the park, which always has its benefits if you're keen on seeing wildlife. Panna National Park is located in central India in the north of Madhya Pradesh. To get here, the easiest is to get to Khajuraho, which is about a half-hour's drive. I took the long way and landed in Gwalior, which was about 5 hours, but it does have more connections. We are at Madla Gate this morning, but the other gate is Hinota, which is about a 40-minute drive from here.
स्वागत है मैम पन्ना टाइगर रिजर्व में। आज देखते हैं नेचर अपन को क्या दिखाएगा। नया दिन है।
Panna is characterized by these stunning plateaus and beautiful gorges. My journey to Panna actually began a few years ago while I was reading a book called The Rise and Fall of the Emerald Tigers by Raghu Singh Chandawat. It talks about perhaps one of the most outrageous times in India's recent wildlife history, in 2008-2009, when every single tiger in Panna had disappeared, killed, every single one. But then in 2009, 5 tigers, 4 females and 1 male, were translocated from other parks to Panna, and today the tiger population is back on the rise. When they first came, they were put in this large enclosure at the back to give them some time to acclimatize to their new surroundings. I'm in Bhoradeo this morning, and the jungle news is that there are 3 leopards that have been seen here, 1 mating pair and a 3rd. It looks like the mating pair have taken off for a romantic stroll, leaving this poor heartbroken fellow sadly sitting alone. The names of the places here are incredibly pretty, almost lyrical. This place is called Kamani Talab because the talab, or the water body here, is in the shape of a kaman or a bow, like a bow and arrow. And Panna is filled with these mesmerizing water bodies that look so dreamy and peaceful. This one is called Judi Nala because the water here is always cold. And I'm going to let my guide Ramesh tell you more about this place.
मैम, ये जो आप जहाँ ग्रासलैंड में खड़े हुए हैं, ये इसका नाम बुदरोन है। बिफोर टाइम ये विलेज था। ये पूरा एग्रीकल्चर लैंड है। ये इस विलेज को 2008 में शिफ्ट किया गया है। इससे पहले ये पूरा गांव हुआ करता था। हाँ, मेरा जन्मभूमि यही है। जो
आपका घर कहाँ था?
मेरा यहाँ से जो सामने देख रहा हूँ मैं, यहाँ से लगभग 800 मीटर दूर आगे है। हाँ। ये जो ट्री, ग्रीन ट्री दिख रहे हैं, हाँ। ग्रीन ट्री के जस्ट बाजू में यहाँ लगभग 180 फैमिली रहते थे। अभी आपने वहाँ से निकले हैं, वो पेट्रोलिंग कैंप है, उसके जस्ट बाजू में टूटा हुआ एक बिल्डिंग है, हाँ। वो स्कूल है।
I asked Ramesh ji if he was sad to leave the place of his birth, and he said that life in the middle of the forest was incredibly tough, and therefore he actually welcomed the idea of the village being relocated. So when the human families moved out of the forest, new families moved in. And we have a mom, Sambar, and her little baby. If you thought being a parent is tough, consider how much tougher it is for parents in the wild. Already it is tough to keep safe from predators and find food to eat, but all that becomes so much harder when there is a little one that depends on you. And this is a mother parakeet busily feeding her baby. But in this species, the father does help out as well. I'm at Pipertola again this morning, and this time we have Tigress 141 and her two cubs. Tigresses have a very strong bond with their cubs and are extremely protective of them. When she goes off to mark her territory, she will leave them in a safe space, and when she comes back, they will follow the swish of her tail. They will learn by watching mom, and someday when they're old enough to hunt on their own, usually at about 2 years old, they will go on to lead their own independent lives. But for today, I'm just going to enjoy the three of them together. Moms are just incredible, aren't they? It's day 3, and there's nothing like watching a wild sun rise from the back of a safari vehicle. The forest elephants are looking for a male tiger with a maggot wound. Many weeks have passed and no one has seen him yet. But around the same area, we get word of another tigress on the move. This is P652. Her mother was T6 and she is the 5th litter second cub. She's about 7 years old. I'm a little alarmed at how close this tigress keeps getting to the vehicles ahead. She is, after all, a wild animal, and I do feel like we need to give the tiger some more space. No photograph or video is worth putting yourself or the animal at risk. At sunset, my home away from home, the Ken River Lodge has arranged for a boat ride down the beautiful River Ken. It's a beautiful day 4 in Panna National Park. There's another striped beauty found in these forests, and you will find her if you look high up between the trees. Suspended on an almost invisible gossamer web is the giant wood spider. The males are much smaller than her, and they will wait around for her to eat. As she devours her prey, they will quickly mate with her. If they catch her when she's hungry, there is a good chance that they'll be eaten too. And seen here is the beautiful ghost tree, white and shines bright in the moonlight. The crocodile bark tree, because the bark resembles the skin of a crocodile. Panna is home to some of the most stunning gorges in the country. This place is called Dhundwa, and it is home to one of the most misunderstood species. If the tiger is the king of the forest that keeps the population of the prey base in check, then the vultures are those unsung heroes that keep the environment clean and disease-free. It is said that a flock of vultures can clean up a dead buffalo in under 30 minutes, and the digestive system of vultures are so strong that it can kill most bacteria and other disease-causing agents. It is shocking, therefore, that India's vulture population plummeted by about 99% in the 1990s, and I still think a lot more education is needed because this bird is a very integral part of our ecosystem. We are in Kanhaiya territory and we're getting some fantastic deer calls, which means that there is a predator somewhere here. I'm hoping it's Kanhaiya, fingers crossed. Wow, a striped hyena. These guys are nocturnal, very difficult to spot in the day. This is a very lucky sighting. It looks like something's wrong with his back left leg. Seems to be hurt. We are at HYENA Gate this afternoon for the night safari. Some villages inside this zone were relocated, but many still remain here. And deep inside this zone is the HYENA Jungle Camp, which is also looked after by the Ken River Lodge. This is like a rustic but very tranquil place to stay. We're going to wait here until the sun sets. The first thing we see is a wild boar eating the carcass of a nilgai. family of Nilgai going about their night. In the nighttime, the jungle is quite amazing, a little daunting, a little mysterious, but definitely really alive. There's like little bursts of movement everywhere. Cute little palm civet looking for food. We're gonna stay. Oops. Looks like we've been spotted. And after chasing big cats all day, here's one of the world's smallest wild cats, the rusty spotted cat, only found in our part of the world. To avoid predators, it sits camouflaged in the thickets of bushes and trees. So difficult to spot a bear in the daytime, but at night they are everywhere. This is the third one we've seen. Seems to be busy digging for dinner. It's morning, and this is what the bears were digging up last night. You can see their claw marks. This is a really deep hole to search for food, which is ants, termites, and beetle grub. They have really sharp claws, and on the top of the tree there you can see their claw marks. A changeable hawk eagle is on the lookout. Its plumage varies from very light to a deep rich brown. Therefore, it is called a changeable hawk. The latest jungle news this morning is that Kanhaiya is back in this part of the forest. And as you can see, news here spreads like wildfire. This is my last safari, so I have my fingers crossed that we'll get to see him.
कन्हैया पन्ना टाइगर रिजर्व में जो टाइगर हैं हमारे 70 प्लस हैं, लेकिन कुछ ही टाइगर हैं जिनके नेम दिए हुए हैं, बाकी सारे टाइगरों के नंबर हैं। इसका जो राइट आइस है वो थोड़ा सा डिफेक्ट है, इसलिए इसको नाम कन्हैया पड़ा है। कन्हैया टाइगर जो है वो बिग एरिया है, इसका कोर एरिया प्लस बफर एरिया में काफ़ी कवर करता है, जैसे पांडव फॉल और हाईवे क्रॉस करके बफर एरिया हरसा या झन्ना वाली उसमें जाता है। कन्हैया जो टाइगर है बहुत ही हैप्चुअल और बहुत ही अच्छा और अच्छी साइज में दिखने वाला टाइगर है।
If you want to know if a predator is in the area, it's best to check with the neighborhood watch, which in this case are the langurs and the deer. The langurs seem happily eating their wood apple. They seem quite relaxed. They form a very convenient bond with the deer. Once they finish eating the best part of the fruit, they will throw down the rest, and the deer below will eat whatever is left. There we have the cheetah. The langurs have very keen eyesight, and because they can climb to the tops of the trees, they will keep a watch over a wider area. And then on the ground, you will have the deer. They have a very good sense of smell and hearing. So you can see the mother in the front. She's being very cautious and she's on high alert. A stomp of the feet also indicates to the rest of the herd that danger may be ahead. So the langur's calls have begun. Listen. So it looks like this was a leopard, and that's what they were all calling about. Interesting. So the leopard has disappeared. It's been 10 minutes, but the calls have not stopped. behind us, the grasses seem to be moving. I don't believe it. It's Kanhaiya. This guy is huge and one of the most beautiful regal tigers I have ever seen. So it does look like it's his left eye that is a little defective. And that was my 5 days at Panna. Such a gorgeous forest. I met some amazing people. And just to be able to unplug and share the space with these incredible beings was absolutely priceless. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you again in another wild place very soon. Till then, be kind, stay wild, and keep traveling.